Good afternoon, everyone. In the previous class, we have seen one-way authentication. In one-way authentication, we have seen two types. One is password-based authentication, and second one is certificate-based authentication. We'll see now today's class mutual authentication. In mutual authentication, both the communicating parties need to authenticate themselves to each other. For example, if I take an example of internet banking, in the internet banking, the customer needs to identify he is communicating with his or her bank, but not with somebody else posing as his bank. Okay, and the bank needs to identify his customer. Once again, in the mutual authentication, we have got two methods. One is mutual authentication based on shared secret, that is symmetric key, and mutual authentication based on public bar private key pair. Let me start with mutual authentication based on shared secret, that is also called as shared secret based authentication. So this is a mutual authentication using a secret key shared by both the parties, both the communicating parties. So as you can see from the figure, there are two communicating parties A and B. In message one, A communicates its identity A along with a challenge. By this time you also know that if I say a challenge, it is a random number, also called as a nonce. Okay. So in message one, A communicates its identity along with the challenge the nonce RA. Okay. In message 2, that is the in message 2, the B will encrypt that particular nonce RA. Along with that, it will send its own nonce RB. Okay. And as a method of completion, in message 3, A will send the nonce sent by RB by encrypting with a common secret key. So this is what mutual authentication is all about. So at the outset, it may seem that this particular protocol is soundproof, is a soundproof. That means it's a foolproof, but it is not like that. It is a flawed protocol. That means there are some flaws in it. So the attacker can make use of this in the following way. In the following figure, you can see that how actually this particular mutual authentication can be attacked. So, so one attack scenario has been shown here. So in message one, an attacker C sends a message to B containing a nonce R and claiming it to be a A. So he claims it, I am a and sends the identity of A along with the nonce RA. So for that, B responds in message 2 with encrypting the nonce RA and sending its own nonce RB. Okay. After that, this at the after that in message 1 dash, C attempts to connect to A, claiming it as B with the challenge B. Okay, and once again note that this is the same challenge which has been sent by B to C. Okay, for that A will respond in message 2 dash with the encrypting that particular nonce EK of RB, and in the final message 3, the C will send the same EK of RB to B, thus completing the mutual authentication. So this particular kind of attack is called as a reflection attack. Why it is called as a reflection attack? Because a part of the fragment has been sent again to the sender. What actually C is doing here? C is impersonating himself as A to B. Okay, A to B, and which is the fragment that has been reflected back is EK of RB. You can see here EK of RB, which has been sent by A in message 2 dash. Okay, whenever C sends the identity claiming identity of B with RB, naturally A will encrypt that particular RB with common secret key EK of RB. The same EK of RB will be taken by C and will be sent back to the B EK of RB. So that B assumes that I am communicating with A, but in turn C is communicating with B. So this is called as reflection attack, and the reflection fragment is EK of RB. This is also called as parallel session attack or hijack attack, because in the middle of a protocol, one entity while communicating with one particular entity opens another session. That means the C communicates with B as well as it starts communicating with A. That's why it is called as parallel session attack or hijack attack. So what is the solution for this? One solution is that whenever both the parties communicating A and B, once they use, for example, if A uses a nonce of odd numbers, B should use a nonce of even numbers. So if they make use of that one, look at here in the message 2, as you can see in the figure, in the message 2, B is sending RB, so it will send the even number. Then the C has to send the RB with the odd number, which is not the case here. Whatever the RB received by B, that will be sent by C to A. If they make use of this convention that I will use odd numbers, you can use even numbers, then the B will send a RB with even numbers. Then C is supposed to send RB with a odd number, which is not the case. That is the one solution. The second solution is that you encrypt the data. That means the responder need to encrypt the data and the initiator need to decrypt the data. That is the one solution that can be shown in the figure. I will show now. See here, A communicate with B by telling its identity A and the nonce RA. For that, B will encrypt the RA as well as B will encrypt his own nonce RB. Okay, and since it's a common secret key, A will decrypt that particular EK of RB to get the original key RB. Then the B will make sure that it is indeed communicating with A. So this is the one solution for common secret key. So next we'll go for asymmetric key based authentication, that is mutual authentication where A and B will have a public key bar private key pairs. So in the following communication, if I say this notation M of A, as you can see in the text, M of A means message M sent together with A's signature on M. Okay, with A's signature on M. If I say signature, it is a private key of A using which the signature has been done on a message. Okay, now we will see asymmetric key based authentication. Asymmetric key based authentication. So you can see from the figure one, once again the same thing. A will communicate with B by sending its identity A along with its own nonce RA along with the certificate of A. For that, the message what the B will do, the B will obtain a string by concatenating both RA and RB. RA has been given by A, whereas RB is an own nonce of B. Okay, and it will be signed by B, along with the B certificate. It will send to A. What the A will do? A will once again sign that particular RB with his own private key. So this is what the mutual authentication using public key bar private key. Once again, this may looks that this particular protocol is the correct one, but basically this particular protocol is a flawed protocol. Once again, it contains flaws. So once again, it can be attacked in a following way. It can be attacked in the following way. So once again, you can see here A A initiates communication with C. Here C is a man in the middle. Okay. So A initiates communication with C, sending the challenge RA. Sending the challenge RA. What the C will do in message one dash, C initiates communication with B using the same nonce sent by RA. Okay, that means C will send the ARA to B. So next thing is in message two dash, B responds to A challenge by signing it with its own private key. That is RA and RB will be taken, and for that the signing will be done by the B. Okay, the same thing will be communicated to A, and what the A will do, A will sign the nonce of RB, that is the sent by B, and given to C, and C once again will send the same to B. Okay, so RB of A. So this is how actually this particular protocol can be attacked. Okay, can be attacked. One solution to above problem is that the whenever you are sending a message, to include the identity of the recipient. For example, you can see from the figure, A will communicate with A comma RA, and once again in the message two, B will take the concatenation of RA and RB and sign it with B. Along with that, it includes the identity of A. And once again, A will sign it the RB. Along with that, it will include the recipient's identity B. Here if you use in the intruder in the previous, instead of B, it will have a C. Then the B will come to know that it is not communicating with A, it is communicating with somebody else called as C. Okay, this is the one solution for asymmetric key based authentication. So next we'll go for authentication and key agreement. So basically in the authentication and key agreement, we are interested to design a protocols which combine authentication and session key protocols. That means for communication between A and B will take place not every time with the public key or private key, but you by making use of a short-term session keys. Why you need to go for session keys? So we can come here. So authentication was performed using operations involving a long-term shared secret or a private key. Since private key operations are very expensive, that is the first reason why we need to go for session key. Private key operations are very expensive. The communication can be integrity protected and are encrypted using short-term keys or session keys. Okay, in order to provide integrity protection as well as encryption, you have to go for session keys. One is private key operations. So one private key operations are expensive. Second condition is that if the private key is get compromised, that means somebody stores the private key, so naturally the entire session will get hijacked. So it is better you have to go for short term keys or session keys. So SA and SB are the contributions to the secret key by A and B. That means A will have a session key SA, B will have a session key SB. Okay, they are freshly chosen random numbers. If I say SA and SB, SA and SB are freshly chosen random numbers that are encrypted and sent so that they cannot be eavesdropped upon. So they are encrypted by A, SA is encrypted by A, SB is encrypted by B. So the key finally chosen could be simple function of SA and SB, like SA S is equal to session key is equal to SA XR SB. So that is the session key. So that particular thing you can see in the figure. So using secret key, how do you do session key? Okay. So A will communicate with B by giving its identity A along with its nonce RA. Okay. For that, B will send EK of RA. That means it will encrypt the nonce of RA with the common secret key. Along with that, it will encrypt its own nonce and the session key SB with this common secret key. Okay. And once again, A will send back the RB. Along with that, it will encrypt its particular session key SCA with its own particular common secret key that we can see here. It will sign it with the common session key. Next, going for using public key, how do you do this one? Using session keys, everything is same. A will send the A will communicate with B by giving the identity of both A and B along with its own nonce RA along with its own certificate. Okay, along with its own certificate. B in turn will communicate with A by sending the SB, which is the session key of B, by signing it. You can see here in the square, after square bracket, it is small. You can see this B here. That means it is completely signed by B. So before that one, SB has been encrypted using the public key of A. After that, it has been signed by B. After that, it has been signed by B. Signed by B. So basically, what you need to understand is that if I say SA, it will be signed by A. If I say SB, it will be signed by B. Both are freshly chosen random numbers, which will be encrypted correspondingly A and B, and that will be sent to A. And A in turn, what will do? It will take his particular SA, which will be encrypted by using the public key of B, and finally signed by A. It will be signed by A. This is one way of using session keys, because private key and public key operations are expensive, and if the private keys get compromised, the whole session will get hijacked. For that, you need to go for session keys by making use of session keys SC and SB. So the last method is use of timestamps. How do you make use of timestamps? So the use of nonces was introduced to prevent replay attacks, because if you use a fresh challenge, if you every time if you use a fresh random number, naturally it will not give a clue to the attacker that what was the previous number. If you use the same random numbers again and again, it may be a chance that attacker will include in the middle and will hack the password, whatever the communicating between long-term secret or the password that will be communicating between A and B. So ideally, you can go for one more method where you're going to include the timestamp. That means at what time you have you're sending it. Okay, if that particular timestamp is a recent one, the receiving party will increment that particular timestamp and send it back. So giving the identification that everything is right. Okay, so below figure shows the use of timestamps in conjunction with the public key cryptography authentication. So you can see in the figure A giving his identity A and B along with the timestamp TA and signed by A. After square bracket, we have got A. So it's signed by A and we will send it to B. So after B confirms that it is the recent timestamp, it will increment the timestamp. That is, you can see here A comma B TA plus 1. Okay, and finally signed by B. After square bracket, it is signed by A. It is signed by B. After square bracket, you can find it signed by B. Okay, so it will make sure that this is the recent timestamp so that you can go for this one. This is feature authentication using shared secret asymmetric timestamps. So next we'll go for another concept, dictionary attacks. So coming to dictionary attacks, attack types. So dictionary attacks are typically launched in the context of passwords. So basically in the dictionary attacks, you're going to guess the passwords. Okay. Some passwords have too few characters. For example, you can see in the table SM not T. So it is less than 8 character. It is easy to guess. That is the one thing where the dictionary attack can happen. Others may be common celebrity names, place names. For example, you can see that the celebrity name Shah Rukh Khan, which has been written in the reverse order. It has been written in the reverse order. That can be guessed. Okay, that can be guessed. So next thing is some individuals use permutations of characters in the names of their relatives. For example, you have got one relative called as Aisha. So look at here, Aisha. That Aisha has been written reverse. AEY SHA or HSA. So some rearrangement or permutation of that can also be easily guessed. So birthday or anniversaries of relatives, or if they have their own, can be kept as a password. That can also be guessed and attacked. And the place names where actually you reside, or your birth has happened, that is also can be case for dictionary attack. Okay, there are two types of dictionary attacks. One is online, and the another one is offline. So what happens in online attack? So in online attacks, an intruder attempts to log into the victim's account by using the victim's login name and the guessing password. That means, so you will enter your login name and you will enter password. But the problem with the online attack is that there is a minimum number of attempts are there. For example, you can attempt for 3 times. After 3 times, the password will get locked. That means the server will not allow you to enter for other use of passwords. That is the drawback of online attack. So we'll go for offline attack. So unlike an online attack, an offline dictionary attack leaves a few fingerprints. One possibility is for the attacker to get a hold of a password file. That means in the offline attack, the user will have a dictionary of password. That is also called as a password file. He will have a dictionary of password file. So based on the dictionary of password file, he will make a function of password. That means what happens is that in the password file on the server will not be kept in the clear. That means the password will not be kept as it is. There will be cryptographic hash of the password will be taken. That means the function of the password along with a particular random number will be taken, and that particular file will be kept in the password file of the server. So naturally, the attacker what will do? Attacker will also have a dictionary in which he has got a password and the function of the password, so that it will be matched. It will be matched. Okay, so that we can see how actually can try. How actually can try. So let capital D be an array containing the dictionary. So capital D is a dictionary, which is nothing but an array of password files. Okay. Let capital F denote function of password and a nonce, where PW is the client password. So capital F will denote the function of password, and R, that is the random number. In this way, actually the password file will be kept on the authentication server. So let small f be the number of permissible guesses. How many number of guesses you are going to make, which is nothing but size equal to size of D. Because if the number of passwords are 10 in the dictionary file, you're going to try for 10 times. So initially found is equal to false. We need to find a password. Initially we are not found it. So found is equal to false. We'll start with the first password. So I is equal to 0. While not a found, that is true. While it is true, and I less than n. So initially the value of I is 0. 0 is less than 10. What I'm going to do, I'm going to find a x. If x is equal to, that is double is equal to. Okay. So x double is equal to f of di comma r. If x is equal to x is equal to f of di comma r. If that is the case, if x is equal to f, now it is double f actually. Both are double f only. Both are it's both are double f. First one is assignment. First one is assignment, where you're finding a function of di and r, where di is nothing but a password. Okay, first password. Those x is equal to password and r. In the second case, if x is equal to f, that means whatever the password you have found, it is equal to function of password and r, which has been kept in the authenticated server. So print correct password and found is equal to the attacker can find the password. Now, defeating dictionary attacks, how this particular dictionary attacks can be defeated. So one thing is that, so one approach to frustrating a dictionary attack is to increase the cost of performing such an attack. Okay, the cost is the time to successfully complete the attack. What I mean to say is that, so while the attacker is trying to find the password, make the time, the time he will take to crack the password, make that big enough, such that he will get frustrated. So he is not able to give his time. It is because it will be more time consuming. How to do more time consuming? The most time consuming operation in each iteration is comparing f of di comma r. Okay, it's comparing f of di comma r, whether x is equal to f of di comma r. What you need to do, suppose for example, instead of the function f being a simple cryptographic hash, so what in the authentication server you are going to give a function of how to keep the password, function of password comma nonce. Okay, so here function is applied only once. Instead of applying only once, you're going to apply cryptographic hash 100 times. So that has been shown in the figure here. Suppose, for example, instead of the function f being a simple cryptographic hash, it was the cryptographic hash h applied successively 100 times. That has been shown in the figure. H, open the brace h, open the brace h. That means you are going to apply cryptographic hash 100 times. You know that if the cryptographic hash is applied only once, it is almost infeasible to find a combination of the password and the nonce. If it is attacked 100 times, it will take more amount of time, so that the it will make 100 times slower for the attacker to get the password. That is the one way. Second thing is that, so a protocol that virtually eliminates offline dictionary attack is the encrypted key exchange protocol, that is called as EKE protocol. So this is a password based protocol that combines Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol. So I will tell you briefly what you mean by Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol. In the Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol, we have got one common base called as G and modulus P. That means both the communicating parties A and B knows the value of base G and the modulus P. Okay, and the communicating party A will have a random number A, small a, and will compute the partial key G to the power of A mod P. Similarly, B, the receiving party B will have a random number, other nonce B, and will communicate a partial key and will calculate a partial key G to the power of mod P. Okay, so what the A will do, he will calculate G to the power of A mod P and send it to B. And what the B will do, B will calculate G to the power of B mod P and send it to A. Now both A and B will calculate G to the power of AB mod P, and B will also calculate G to the power of AB mod P. They will have a common secret. So using which they will go to communicate. This is what the Diffie-Hellman key exchange. But the problem with the Diffie-Hellman key exchange is that an intruder in the middle can attack. Okay, for example, the C in the middle can get G to the power of A mod P and replace that with G to the C mod, take the G to the mod P from B and replace that with send to A. So both A and C have G to the C mod P, and similarly G to the power of AC mod P, and similarly both G to the power of BC mod P. That is the problem with the Diffie-Hellman key exchange. Now, so coming to your topic, EKE, that is encrypted key exchange protocol, is based on the Diffie-Hellman key exchange. So the Diffie-Hellman protocol is vulnerable, as I told earlier, is vulnerable to man-in-the-middle attack, which is due to the unauthenticated exchange of partial secrets, G to the power of A mod P, G to the power of B mod P. Okay, so in order to mitigate this attack, what the what we'll do is, you can see in the figure, the communicating party A and B are there. So both the communicating parties A and B. So A will communicate G to the power of A mod P, but only thing is that he will encrypt that with a long-term secret PW. That is the function of the password that is will be shared between both A and B. Similarly, B will communicate his particular thing G to the power of mod P along with his nonce RA, and once again E. And after that, A will be calculated with nothing but G to the power of AB mod P, and similarly A will encrypt RA and RB, and B will encrypt RB. What the advantage of EKE is that even though the attacker will guess the password and get the partial secret G to the power of A mod P and G to the power of B mod P, is not able to get the G to the power of AB mod P, because that will be computed by both the parties A and B. That is what the advantage of EKE. Even though we will get the partial secret, is not able to obtain a session key, which is nothing but G to the power of AB mod P. That is the one way of providing the security. That is what EKE. Second thing is that EKE provides perfect forward secrecy. So a protocol is said to be perfect forward secrecy if it is not possible for an attacker to between A and B, even if or she records the entire encrypted session and point obtains or steals relevant long-term secrets on the A and B. That means while has been happening, even if you obtains the partial keys, is not able to decrypt the session key. That is what the perfect forward secrecy. This is regarding this chapter, dictionary attacks and defeating dictionary attacks. So next we'll go for authentication 2. So I will take a break here, and we will come back to this chapter in the next class. I'll stop at this point.